This is an EDC video for 2021. It's a lot colder these days, so you can get away with a bit bigger gun, a little bit more stuff in your pockets. I think now more than ever it's important to carry tools on you, things that aid in everyday tasks as well as potential life-threatening situations. Here's some of the things that I have decided to carry on my person every day. Now, everything in the shot is not all the stuff, but it's just some eye candy for you to look at real quick. All right, so let's kick it off with the gun. It's a Glock 19, pretty standard. A lot of people carry a Glock 19 every day, myself included. Mostly during the winter months, because during the summer months, I find that this area right here tends to stick out when I'm wearing a t-shirt, which is pretty normal for most people. Some people can get away with it year-round, and that's awesome. First things first, let's just make sure this thing's unloaded. So, empty magazine. You can see it's a empty chamber. Good deal. Secondary magazine is also unloaded. So the only modifications I've done to this are some Warren tactical sights. They are a front tritium insert with a rear tritium insert as well. It's a little hard to see there. There we go. So what that does is kind of gets rid of the mess that can usually be on standard sights, which are here and here. There's usually some tritium inserts there. I find that's kind of a little distracting. So I went with this setup, and I can really get on target fast. Super helpful whenever you're in that situation of either just practice or dry fire or anything of that sort. It's a great set of sights. I've not had any issues with it. The tritium is brighter in the front than in the rear on purpose. That way, whenever you are looking down, it's not so distracting, but still at night you can line up the two sights. I've also added a plug at the bottom here, and that is just to keep dirt and dust from going down into the actual firing mechanisms down here. That's the only thing I've done to the gun. I've used it for many years now. Shot a lot of steel, shot a lot of paper. Just practiced with it. I've qualified with it for some different things. It's been a great gun, super accurate. It's as accurate as a shooter is. I have not had any issues with it. It's kind of a staple in the gun world for daily carry. Now you can see I'm carrying it in a T-Rex Arms sidecar. Love this holster. So this holster has some wear, some rubbing off, some obvious usage. Carry it a lot. In this configuration, I really don't have any complaints with this particular holster. I mean, at first I thought the fact that this is so rigid right here would be a problem, but the more I've used, and I've tried different holsters, the more I find that I actually liked the rigidity of this particular holster. It really kind of sets well into my front area there where it says it's appendix carry holster, for those of you who may not know. It has a few spots of retention, so you can tighten it here or here. Check this out. Kind of show you. So they've got some cushioned parts here that have some flex, so if you need to get it tighter, you can. This also has like what they call a raptor claw here. This helps push against your belt so that whenever you have it in your pants, it will push against so that the gun isn't sticking out. See, without that, it would stick way over here, with it over here. Really great holster. Can't say good enough things about it. So, all right, let's move on to some other stuff. All right, so now on to most people's favorite things, and that is the knives that I've decided to carry. So let's take a look at the first one here. This is an LT Wright daily carry. It's a fixed blade. Love this little blade. the name says it all. It's a great daily carry knife. It's about a 3-inch blade length on this. It's AEBL stainless steel. It's about 0.125 on the thickness there on the spine. This particular one's in green canvas micarta. The matte finish, I really like green canvas, just kind of my thing. So there you can see the L, which indicates AEBL stainless steel. Now I went a little higher on the grind on this one. It did come really sharp and it sliced well, but I went just a little steeper on the edge, just for a little bit better slicing. I think it does really well at cutting food, such as apples, cheese, whatever you're gonna cut. Opening packages, cutting boxes, breaking those down. It does all of those things really well, and I think it also does a good job at starting fires. LT Wright is known for really sharp 90-degree spines. I'm sure you could probably hear that. They are very sharp, and they scrape a ferro rod very well as just scraping tinder, getting those things started. So, if you had to get a fire going, you could pretty easy with some basic tools. It does split well, actually. I've used it for very small pieces of kindling just to kind of get a fire going around here. It does very well at that. Strikes a ferro rod very well. I added this little piece of leather at the end just to help me get it out of the sheath a little better. So when it's in my pocket, you're not going to be able to see this very well, but wrapping my hand around there and tugging on that with my pinky just to get it out when it's in my front pocket. It comes in a JRE industry sheath. Really great. I actually like this particular area here for when it's in my pocket. It helps it keep it stable and upright. I really love it. I don't really ever carry it on the belt. As you can see, it's pretty well smashed down. I just carry it in my front pocket. This goes with me basically every day that I can think of. All right, let's take a look at the folder that I use. So this is a case, medium Stockman. This is in their CV steel. It is not a stainless steel. It is a high carbon steel, which I really like. I have found that the performance on this is very good for what it is. It's a classic blade shapes, classic company. This one's in amber bone. Really like that, the way that it looks, the aesthetics of it. Let's take a look at the blades. So with that CV steel, it can rust, and also it can take a pretty sick meat tina, just a patina from cutting hot meats and that sort of thing. Let me see if I can get it to focus here. Yeah, it's not going to focus. Put my hand behind it. Nope, not going to do it. So basically, it will take a patina over time, which I actually really like. These two don't really have so much of a patina on them because I don't cut meats with them. I don't cut food with them. And you can see right there's a little bit of a wear. That's just because of the design of the pattern here. As you can see how tight those are. It's just how the design is, how they have to fit those knives in together. You see there, some scratch there. I don't care. Some people, that would bother them. So if that bothers you, maybe not choose this, but I don't care. I use this blade here, this clip point. I use it for cutting food, small things, little pieces of food, cutting apples, the same things that I use the other for, just this one's a little different and maybe not so scary. So for some people, I use this one here as just a utilitarian blade. It does well for, obviously opening boxes, cutting things that you would normally cut and need a smaller knife for. I love it though. It does great. I use that one probably the most. And this pin blade here, let's see if I can, there we go. I use this for getting things like splinters out of my finger, for cleaning up little things, more detailed work. I have a little bit more control on it. So you can see there's a little bit of oil on there. That's just to help keep rust off. That's why it looks a little dirty. So great little knife. Now I tried carrying this in the coins pocket of my jeans, and I just didn't like that. So I just put together this little sheath that I made. Not the best stitching in the world, not the best leather, but I really don't care. It works. Slide that dude in, goes on my belt, and rides on my right side. And I use this mostly for when I'm in public, so that I don't alarm anybody or, you know, whatever. Because now where I live, that it's not normally going to happen, but whenever you go into the bigger cities, people do tend to get scared of things like this when you pull them out of your pocket. Even though this is really small, that's just not normal to them. So when you pull this out, it's like, oh, that's, you know, it looks like Grandpa's knife. So they don't really get so scared about that. All right, let's take a look at the light I carry. So this is a through night. It's a TC15. It's the custom edition. I think they just normally come in black, but I really like this anodized color that they have here. It's more of like a brown or dark earth or whatever you want to call it. This has been a great light. It's a little on the heavy side, but I don't mind that kind of thing. I don't mind carrying more weight if it's going to perform better. So I think the TC10, I can't remember the model number. It just wasn't bright enough for me. For the things that I do, I didn't like being limited on my lumens count to save a few ounces. So it's been awesome. This thing is great. The max output is 2,300 lumens on the turbo mode, which it's not going to run the turbo mode super long, and I don't normally need that. But if I did, it's there. It has a beam distance of 807 feet, they claim. Haven't really tested that. I just know that it shoots a far enough beam for me and what I do. It's rechargeable. It's got this little flap here. Get it open. You just plug into that with the cable they provide. Works great. It really holds a decent charge. I've not really had any issues with the charge. It holds very well. Uses the 3100 on this one. This came with it. Obviously, it's through night. Came with the light, and I have not had a need to change that at all. And I use this thing every day. I mean, I use a light and a knife a ton. I use it for everything from looking under tables, helping me see while I reconnect some cables, to helping illuminate the area while we reconnect the return fuel line on a diesel. So this thing's been in the muck, and it's been worn, as you can see, but it's a great light. Simple button reaction. You just press and hold. That's what they call Firefly. They have low, which is the next, medium, and high. Pretty bright. Now there's a turbo mode, which if you double tap, you can't really see that, but I can feel the heat coming off of it. That's 2,300 lumens. Really great light. I like the modes. It'll remember where you were at last, which is super helpful, because if you have it set at, you're working constantly and you have it set at a certain brightness, say like the medium, turn it off, turn it back on, it's going to go to the medium. Now, typically I don't want to get blinded, so what I'll do is if you press and hold this button, it'll take you to the Firefly mode, which is like, I think, a half a lumen. Super helpful just to see little things so you don't ruin your night vision. And then going to low. I would say I probably use the low, medium the most. Firefly and high are kind of not so used, and I almost never use the turbo, but I like that I have it there. It does have a strobe mode. I don't use that either, but it's there if you want it. Next up is my phone. It's a iPhone 11. I've got the camo OtterBox on it. This is the Defender series. This has been a great phone. I went from the 7 Plus to this, and don't regret it one bit. The processor in this thing is so much better. I mean, it's hands down better than the 7. Obviously, that many generations of gap, I would hope so. But I have found that with video, having that secondary lens there is super helpful. The multi-hued flash that they have on there, this thing does really good, especially on a DJI gimbal, like phone gimbal. The footage is it's really good. The processor, like I said, is really great. I use it for work. I use it for telling different things from navigation on the compass to the elevation. Use it to schedule things out. I mean, I don't really need to go into this. Everybody pretty well knows that they're going to use their phone a ton, and this one's been a great one for me. Next up is the thing that you've probably been seeing this whole video. That's my Casio G-Shock. I wear this thing all day, every day, basically. It's been a great model. This is the Rangeman. I typically don't get too much into watches, although after getting this one, I kind of started looking a little more at them. This one has the triple sensor. So there's an altimeter, a barometer, and a compass. Now, I use the barometer constantly on this thing. We do grow our own food, so I constantly kind of keep an eye on that and see kind of whether or not there might be some rain. Keeping an eye on that's been great. It charges via solar. It's got the multiband 6 on there, so it links up out of Denver to keep to the second on time and date, so I don't ever have to change that. It's pretty awesome. I do actually use all 3 of the sensors. I constantly check altimeter whenever I'm either hiking or out in the wilderness. I even check it when I'm somewhere new just to kind of see where I'm at. I have had to adjust it quite a bit and make sure it's calibrated correctly, but I think that's kind of normal function. Compass, same thing. I use it when I'm out in the wilds, and that's mostly it. If I'm in town or can see the sun, I pretty well know which way I'm going, but mostly for in the woods. This thing has been awesome. I use the stopwatch, the timer on it daily. I could do those things on my phone, but I just like doing them on here much better. I actually don't keep my phone on me unless I absolutely have to, so I use this for that quite a bit. It's been a great watch, and couldn't recommend it enough. All right, last but not least, let's just talk about the basic stuff. Carry this Uniball 207 gel pen. It writes really smooth. It's been super reliable. Haven't had any issues with it. Just a basic pen. Really like it. Carry a bandana on me. They're super useful items, from wiping sweat off of your face to drying your hands after coming out of the bathroom at a public place where they don't have towels or whatever, to wiping food off, blowing your nose. There's just like 1,000 uses for these things. Super helpful. Always carry it in my back pocket. It's very thin, so it doesn't take up any space. Doesn't bother me when I'm sitting down or anything like that. This one happens to be one I got from my grandpa, so a little sentimental to me. I also carry some of the new ones as well, which I'll mention later. But yeah, bandanas are awesome, and they're super helpful. Next, I carry this front pocket wallet. This is made by Alpine something, I can't remember. I'll have links below, but I got it off Amazon like 5 years ago. Was pretty well rated, kind of a basic, really thin type wallet. Took all my stuff out of here for obvious reasons, but I've carried this for 5 years now, like I said, and it really helps because it keeps me from having to sit on my wallet give me back issues, that kind of thing. But I carry it in my front left pocket. Works great. And with that, I don't really use cards very much, so always keep cash on me, whatever amount I feel like I need. I usually mostly do things with cash, just personal preference. So next are my keys. I'm going to show you the keys, but I'll show you what they come on. Use this Night Eyes S-Beaner, super helpful little thing. This part right here, be able to take on and off stuff like that. Like this one here. This is the Leatherman Squirt. It's the PS4. Just a real basic small multi-tool. So got pliers on the front, wire cutters. These are things I use quite a bit actually. Even like out in the woods sometimes, just having like a hot pot that you need to pick up, being able to reach over and pick it up and hold it with this, so you don't burn yourself, obviously. It's got a knife on there, some real basic tools, small Phillips. I mean, you can look at reviews on this thing. There's a ton out there. People know them, love them. They're great little things. So that stays on my keys. Now on my keys, how I carry those is on my belt. I made this little leather piece here so I can take it on and off. Didn't do such a great job with it, to be honest with you. But it was my first thing. But all excuses aside, it does work. It functions very well. I integrated this Castrum number 3 dangler with it. Works great. So my keys, this stays on my belt. I just hook my keys in right there and holds my keys. Then I stuff my keys in my back pocket when I'm out and walking so they don't jangle around and everything. But supporting all of this, gun and all, you need a good belt. And I use the Next belt. It works off of a ratchet system. So, get this turned around here. So this loosens it. Has a little teeth in there that, there we go. What that does is lines up with this track. And it's not infinitely adjustable, but it's extremely adjustable. So, if I'm not, if I have some super loose belt or super loose pants, I can really ratchet this thing down and it stays nice and tight. You just pull this little lever here and it releases it. The cool thing about this is it's super sturdy. So for holding a gun on the belt, and with all the weight that I carry and the things that I carry, this does really good. I like it in the brown leather. Where I live, this is extremely normal. Nobody would know any different that I'm carrying some kind of tactical belt or anything like that. That's pretty normal to wear leather belts around here where I'm at. So I really like this one. It's been great. Holds up my pants very well, and I can really just cinch it down. So once I have my gun and everything on, I can, if I need it just a little tighter, I can go one notch and it stays tighter. Or if I'm going to sit down and I need to loosen it, I can just pull that out, reach underneath and loosen it up, and gives me that. Like I said, super rigid, super stiff, very, very good belt. So those are the things that I carry on me day in, day out. There are some things that go without saying, such as wedding band, clothes, that type of thing. I do carry a backpack that has other gear in it. If you're interested in seeing a video on that, you can leave a comment below and I can get that video out. These are the things that I carry on my person that help me solve problems, from lighting up a dark place to cutting food, opening packages, and let's hope I never have to use this. But as a responsible citizen and a concealed carry holder, I feel it is my duty to carry that, and let's just hope I never have to use it. But on a less serious note, I am a gear nerd. I love different items, and typically I swap stuff out pretty regularly. But I have kept this setup now for at least a couple of months, which is saying a lot for me. Good, solid items. I can recommend all of them. I don't have any issue about suggesting that you buy them. I will provide links below to the different items, different locations. Some things obviously like this I can't, but I can the holster. Anything you see that's an Amazon link, that will be an affiliate link, and I would appreciate if you would click that. And if you decide to purchase one of these items, that'd be great. Helps me out. I'll also leave a link for the Patreon below if you guys want to support me. See more content like this, we can start to have conversations there as well. So I would love to hear what you guys carry day in and day out. You know, maybe you need more than this, maybe you need less. I'd like to know. Be cool to have a conversation. So until the next video, I'll see y'all around. Y'all have a blessed day.